Hello? There is a motion to move for the adoption of the resolution number 007 in its first reading. Are there any second?
Mr. Chair, I second the motion.
Alright. So are there any questions, objections, manifestations? So hearing none, the motion is hereby approved by general consent. Let's now proceed to the second reading. The chair recommends to suspend the second reading and proceed immediately to debate. Would you like the motion? Yes, Mr. Hendricks, you are recognized.
Honorable Chair, I move that we suspend the second reading of the resolution for time efficient.
Thank you. Are there any second?
I second.
Alright. Are there any questions, manifestations, objections to the motion? So hearing none, the motion is approved by general consent. So let's proceed to the debate proper. I now firstly invite the proponent to speak in favor of the resolution. And of those, everyone who wishes to speak, kindly type in the chat box to be recognized. Yes, MX Denver, you are recognized.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Chair. So my concern was, in our guidance services under OSAS, there are already appraisal and testing services as it was stated on the student handbook. So this particular services or testing services, it gathers information about students through the use of psychological tests and non-psychometric services, and also inquire about students' basic information about financial and psychological na, because as part of their services. So how is this different? This is my question. How is this different to the one that is being offered by the guidance services, and why is this important for us to approve? Given that they're already similar, they're already similar testing testing services or form that is being done by guidance service by the guidance.
Ms. Larce, you have the right to respond.
Thank you, Mex Denver, for the concern. Permission to speak in vernacular language po.
Already granted.
Yung ano po kasi, yung form na disseminate ng OSAS is hindi po siya kumbaga monthly, and it already stated there, yes, na-tackle niya yung sa financial and psychological, but there is not that is not sufficient po para ma-monitor yung students' mental and financial health capability. And for the second question, if I'm not mistaken,
Parang why is this better, or why there is a great need for us to approve this resolution given that they're already similar in nature?
okay. So for that second question po, it differs kasi po dito po pwede magbase ng mga projects, and dito po pwede mag-contextualize ng mga mental health initiatives, and we can also monitor the students' mental health and financial health amidst pandemic. And we can also connect the existing services po para ma-direct po mismo dun sa mga students na kailangan po ng help. Thank you.
Yes. Can I be recognized, Mr. Chair?
Yes, again. Yes, please, you recognize. And Mix Godizano, you have a follow-up? Alright, while waiting.
Hello.
From
May I be...
the...
Ay, hello.
Alright, sige. Yes, please.
I'm sorry.
Right,
Sorry,
no follow-up.
na-unmute ko pala. So my question is, since this resolution is entitled urging the Bicol University Student Council and not the administration to provide a monthly sensing form, my question is, for the Bicol University Student Council, is it really required ba for the Legislative Council to pass a resolution before the Student Council do this kind of projects? Or can you just propose it to the USC for them to do it? Or is it really necessary for the entire council to approve a resolution and for the University Student Council to do this project?
Oo. Kasi po, magiging part po yung College Student Council sa pag-implement proper po nito. Ma-approve po.
Alright, so I guess the question by Ms. Mix Godizano is directed to any representative by USC for clarification of everyone. So, any representative from University Student Council, since the resolution is directed to you, so I guess it's best if you respond to the clarification by Mix Godizano. Is there any representative from the USC?
Yes, sir, this is Gerard Martin.
Yes,
the
you are recognized.
Thank you so much. I think the proposal of Miss Larce, pwede na rin kasi siyang maging standard program or projects ng isang university student council or college student councils. So, I think hindi na ito pwedeng idaan as a resolution. So, because as to the previous proposal of Mr. Denver, since I think the context of this of the resolution of Ms. Larce is pwedeng i-under na lang po doon sa proposal, since talk about mental health and other financial assistance doon po kay sa proposal ni Mr. Denver. And as for the forms or surveys to those students who are in need of the help, yes, correct, the OSAS is having these programs at the end of the semester through the CSOCs, and also the college student councils and university student councils are also open for helping and extending the help of the students in terms of this assistance, especially right now we are in the pandemic. So we have continuous support that will be given to all the students in terms of financial needs or through load card or monetary help. So, but I really acknowledge this because this is very good effort. You see the positive of this resolution, but I think in this area pwede natin itong hindi na po idaan or gawing resolution yung proposal ni Ms. Larce. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much.
Alright, thank you for the clarification. Before I give the floor back to the proponent to respond, clarification from the chair to Mix Godizano. So you mentioned that there is already an existing mechanism by UOSAS. I would like to know if the data is accessible to the students, if we can request for that so that it can be used as a basis for projects at each time. Thank you.
I'm not exactly sure, but I just read it on the student handbook that they are like appraisal or testing services that monitor students' mental and psychological state. But I'm not sure if it's accessible for the students. But I think we can contact naman sa student council and sa CRC then if they really need this kind of data. But I'm really not sure if it's accessible for us. But this resolution by Ms. Lars is really like I really appreciate because it's really good for the students who suffer to this kind of struggles. So yeah, for the question, I'm
All right, thank you. Um, Ms. Larsen, you have the right to respond to both of the previous speakers.
So in response to the USC officer, um, I would suggest we make it a resolution since parang ngayon pa lang po siya mag-start and for the implementation proper since the mag-start po siya and onwards na po sa academic year. So there will be an implementation of this academic year onwards. So I would suggest to make it a resolution instead of a proposal.
All right, thank you, Larsen. Um, the chair thinks that there is no harm on both sides. There's no harm if we're going to pass the resolution and then create another proposal. The chair thinks that also there's no harm if we are going to stick with creating a separate proposal. But the benefit of passing a resolution is therefore we can better institutionalize how this is going to be done for the as a project by USC. So I guess it's up to the body to decide regarding the necessity of this resolution.
hello, maybe I can
So with that,
Chair.
yes, Ms. Mix Lugzano, last speaker for this debate.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Chair. It's really necessary for this to be institutionalized because sometimes if it's not institutionalized and just a proposal, it is not really properly implemented because there's like requirement for us to do this. But if it's institutionalized, then it is a requirement for the entire member of this council to pursue this kind of initiative. So I think I agree with Mr. Chair for it to be institutional.
All right, thank you. So having exhausted on the number of speakers for and against during the debate proper, I declare that the debate is now hereby closed. Now let us proceed with the amendment proper. So let's start with the title. Can you please flash back? All right, title: a resolution urging the Bicol University Student Council. I guess this should be Bicol University Student Council for proper citation of the name of the USC. Tech team, could you please input that? A resolution urging the Bicol University Student Council to provide a monthly sensing form for the students' mental health and financial health capability amidst post-pandemic sessions. Are there any amendments apart from what the chair has amended?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Llorente, you're recognized.
thank you very much, Honorable Chairman. Chair. I haven't had the opportunity to speak earlier during the debate, but I have this concern regarding the monthly. If um, the frequency of this sensing form. I don't know if this is also similar to other council, but in our college we are having difficulty um, encouraging students to answer forms. I don't know what's the reason, but um, I really think that it's because they don't want to answer these forms, especially if we're going to do it as frequent as per month. Um, that's why I am not. I am in favor for the spirit of the resolution, but I am not in favor for the frequency of the form. Because again, as I have said earlier, that we are having difficulty encouraging student to fill up this form. So if the proponent can answer as to why it is monthly, and if if she is open to do it on longer frequency po.
Alright, Ms. Larsen, you have the right to respond.
And thank you for raising that. I actually made it monthly so that we can closely monitor the students. And actually, the members of the CLT or College Legislative Tribunal will help in reaching out the students to so that we can achieve the 90% um, students who will fill out. And if you suggest a longer frequency, we can make it semester, but I highly suggest make it monthly so that we can closely monitor the students and we have the data of their concerns. So, thank you.
Hmm, question from the chair. So, do you think that if we're gonna create it monthly, then therefore there's also monthly assessment of comparison from the previous month to the next month on regarding their mental and financial capabilities? Am I right?
Yes po.
All right. Um, the chair acknowledges the concern of Mr. Llorente of providing it a monthly sensing form. So I leave it to the body to decide if you wish to remove monthly or make it quarterly or make it uh, once every semester to decide on the time of the schedule to provide this sensing form. So I now acknowledge USC Finance Officer Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Point for manifestation lang po. Actually, we conducted this type of survey form during the um, project of our secretary, our DSG, Miss Salen, because up until now, continuous po yung Green Ribbon campaign. So, as per Dr. Analinda Marceliana, the guidance counselor coordinator of the university, so they are, before we are asking them if we can um, give a survey form to those students may na gustong i-share or may problems na nai-encounter. But as per Dr. Marceliana, we are not allowed to do it because the confidentiality and the um, the private emotions, I think, of students are we are not really the right person to talk about it. We are not the right person na kailangan na makita yon. So they are just giving us a chances to extend the projects or the programs. But in regards to the informations of the students, as per Dr. Marceliana, only the right person, which is the guidance counselor of the university, lang po ang pwedeng mag-conduct ng gano'n na survey sa mga students na may ganitong mental health issue. So they promote the KUSUG program ng ating guidance counselor of the university. I am not really familiar kung ano yung frequency nung kanilang pag-conduct ng survey, but I think meron po silang nire-release na survey for this for this survey about mental health. So just to manifest or to clear out lang, maybe kasi when we raise this resolution, maybe hindi din mag ma ano grant in the highest level. So I think if we can um, adjust more instead, no, if we want to help maybe in the other types of forms, I think so, but not the content of the information of the students regarding their mental health.
Uh, all right. Thank you for that manifestation. So, I'm thinking about Kasi meron ng mga forms nga other mga offices and institutions. So, um, sa perspective ng student, taxing din kung maraming forms ang kailangan mong sagutan. Repeatedly state your mental and financial health capability. So, that's what I'm thinking based on the manifestation of USC. So, kung magiging redundance lang din kasi yung pag-access natin sa mental and financial health capability na iba't na forms from different offices, well, para sa akin as perspective ng student, that would be very taxing kung ulit-ulit tayong pag-answer ng forms coming from different offices. So, ayun na nga. Based on the manifestation pa, is that only yung mga qualified ng mga professionals lang eligible, right, to view the results of their survey. So, ayun, I'm starting to question where this resolution would be into. So, um, before we proceed to the amendment, I would like to I would want to the body to a motion to extend the debate for uh, at least 5 more minutes.
Mr. Chair, can I be recognized?
So you're recognized.
I raise the motion. I raise the motion to extend the debate for this resolution.
For 5 minutes, please include.
I
Alright, so
second.
are there any second? So that is in order. So are there any other questions, manifestations? So hearing none, the motion is hereby approved by general consent. So 5 minutes starts now. So we're continuing with the debate. I now invite Ms. Mix Gutizan. Do you wish to speak? Alright, so Mix Bernal, you are recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Point of manifestation, I think that this resolution is very timely for the pandemic this kind of time. But I'm not sure how I see this going on sustainably when we are already in the face-to-face setup because uh, um, diba, we want to make this institutionalized. So how will this hold on when we're already face to face and as much as possible we don't want more screen time. We want time away from screens already and more time answering form in front of the screen. It can be very heavy on students as well. And when when updating or reaching out starts to feel like a chore for students, they might not want to actually engage in these kinds of our efforts. Although that this is in good faith, we want the best for our students, but I just don't see how well this will hold up when we're already transitioning to face-to-face mode of learning.
Alright, thank you. That is noted. Mr. Llorente, you are recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm supporting this resolution in spirit, and I just like the Honorable Creative Director of the Atelier asked earlier that it is in good faith. However, there are certain provisions in these resolutions that I do not support. Uh, Number one, the monthly sensing. I believe it should be on a quarterly basis or a bi-semestral basis, since again, there are a lot of forms of our students that they need to to fill up, the evaluation form for when they attend events and other forms. Sometimes the turnout of these forms are very minimal. For example, um, when we had the election survey last semester, only I think, I'm not mistaken, 3 or 4 colleges reach 80 or 70% threshold of their population. So how much more if uh, we target 90%, which brings me to my second this agreement, we should not put a limit or a threshold or a minimum number or percentage of students that need to answer this form. I believe this form, this sensing form should be answered by students um, who needs or who need mental and financial health. Yeah, yeah, mental and financial health. So uh, with those ano po, disagreement, I don't think that I can support
All right.
this resolution in this in this in
Thank you,
this.
Mr. Llorente. Um, for in defense, I would like to call the proponent, Ms. Larce.
Thank you so much for raising your concerns and manifestations. For the frequency, yes, we can make it quarterly. For the amendment proper, we can amend the frequency of the sensing form. And the target students, we highly suggest to reach the 90% or at least 80% so that we can closely monitor the students. So this sensing form is for students, and for the manifestation of mixed handrakes, if how we will able to reach this form to the students in face-to-face setup, we can tap the block presidents to monitor if they've already filled out the form. After all, it's for the monitoring proper, and it's for us to assess what the students need and despite the transitions of them. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I be recognized? All right, so I have 3 points. Number one, the as like I have stated before and already that in the guidance services and that's also like getting these data in order for them to students. And if we really want something that to assess and monitor students' financial and mental health services and do nothing about it, I present. If you really want information, you can go to this student activity coordinator because they are doing the same. And and if you really want to identify these data and use it for your program, I think students naman can apply if they really want to be part of this program, right? So because that information, that they are really the one who deserve that help from 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 the authority from the councils, right? Because if you really want to help them, just focus on program, and they're already an information overload for us and for them to prove themselves really deserving of our help.
So the motion, the time to extend the debate has now elapsed. So seeing how the body has responded to this resolution and seeing how there is great divide, I think it's best for the chair recommends for us to immediately proceed to vote on this resolution whether to pass it or not to save time, because if we're going to do the amendments in every clause and then afterwards we're not going to the vote will not carry it out, then we're just wasting our time. So the chair recommends that we immediately proceed to vote on this resolution to be approved on its second reading before proceeding to the third reading, seeing how the body uh, responded to the debate.
Mr. Chair, Honorable Chair, may be recognized.
Yes, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Again, I in my manifestation earlier, Chair, I said that I support this resolution spirit. So I don't want this resolution to die on this assembly, this legislative council. Therefore, I will not make a motion to proceed the with the approval of this resolution. However, I would like to to move a motion. I would like to move to for this resolution refer to the student welfare committee for further study and revision.
All right, so that motion is in order. So there is a motion to refer resolution number 007 to the Students' Rights and Welfare Committee for further review and revisions. Are there any second?
I second the motion.
Are there any questions, objections, manifestations? All right, so we will proceed to vote for this for the motion of Mr. Llorente. I request for the tech team motion to refer to straw committee. Yung ilagay na lang sa vote. And then let's proceed to vote. So what does it mean when we refer it to the committee? So it doesn't mean to the proponent, doesn't mean that the resolution already dies, but the resolution is up for further review of a separate committee session. So the straw committee can conduct a separate committee hearing or committee meeting for this for further improvement suggestions from your co-legislators present in that meeting. But you can also invite Mix Llorente, Mix Denver if they would want to join the consultation of the straw committee regarding this resolution. So it's up to the chairperson and the members of the committee when you want to discuss this. So that this can also be included in the order of business for the next GLA. Is that clear, Ms. Larson?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So let's proceed to vote. That team.
Can I be recognized?
Your
What would be the ano po? Motion for the voting po.
Motion to refer to the straw committee. Resolution number 007.
Noted po with thanks. Thank you, sir.
So while we're waiting, proponents of resolution number 008, please be ready. I hope we can at least finish this before we can enjoy. Thank you. Kindly please cast your votes now. Please vote po on the poll motion to refer to the stock committee. Hello, legislators, please vote fast. Thank you. Alright, I'm extending for at least 30 more seconds. Please vote. Please vote. Don't waste your votes po, guys. Don't waste your votes. Again, don't waste your votes. Ang isang botong nasasayang ay nasasayang din ang pag-represent sa interest ng student body. So don't waste your votes. Thank you. Alright, thank you. So the time has elapsed for the vote to this motion. So, wait lang. Hindi ko pa nakita yung final tally. Alright, so having zero not in favor, zero abstain, and overwhelming majority of 37 in favor, the motion to refer anybody who wish to be included in the separate committee meeting for further review of this resolution. Thank you. Is that clear? Ms. Larce?
Po, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's proceed to resolution number 008. I now call on the honorable proponents, Alan Kennedy Villa and Nicole Ann Verda. Are you here in this Zoom meeting? Bhopal CSC President, Alan Kennedy Villa, are you here? Alright, so seeing that there's no response, let's proceed to the last resolution, resolution number 009. Alright, Ms. Larce, once again, you're invited to discuss this resolution.
Good afternoon. Am I audible po?
Yes, you're audible. You may proceed with the first reading. Kindly replace the title. It's resolution number 009, by the way.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Again, it's Christine Y. Larce, the incumbent Pusang CSE representative, and my pronouns are she, her, and her. So, we all know that issues of equality and acceptance, transgender, and rights have become words, ideas, and identities that are new to some. And proper use of gender identity terms, including pronouns, is a crucial way to signal courtesy and acceptance. So, correct usage of pronouns and honorifics is a way of respecting them and referring to them in a way that's consistent and true to who they are. And our goal is to help people communicate accurately and respectfully with one another. So with that, allow me to present to you the resolution number 009, a resolution declaring the and honorifics to USC documents to recognize the gender identity of students, teaching and non-teaching staff that circulate in the university. Whereas Bicol University creates spaces that are welcoming of transgender and gender non-confirming people and recognizes the significance of using correct pronouns and being better allies to the trans community. Whereas the implementing rules and regulation IRR of the Anti-Bullying Act of 2013 defines gender-based bullying as any act that humiliates or excludes a person based on perceived or actual sexual orientation and gender identity. Whereas gender identity is defined as a personal conception of oneself as male or female or rarely both or neither. And this concept is intimately related to the concept of gender role, which is defined as the outward manifestations of personality that reflect gender identity. Whereas pronouns are an important part of how students, teaching and non-teaching staff of the institution because they identify themselves based on how they want to be addressed. And pronouns are the linguistic tools that we use to refer to people, such as they, them, theirs, she, her, hers, and he, him, his. And they, them, theirs is a non-gendered for all gender pronouns, and they, them may also be used when pronouns are unknown. So this functions as both singular and plural pronoun. And pronouns do not indicate how someone identifies in their gender, as gender is personal and complex and specific to the individual. So whereas honorific is a form of addressing, indicating respect, and this can be titles, prefixing a person's name. One is for the Mr. is a gender honorific often used to refer to men, but not always. And Miss, a gender honorific referred to women, but not always. And Mix is an alternative to common gendered honorifics, such as Mr. and Miss, and it is often used by trans and non-binary people or those who do not wish to be referred to by gender honorifics. Whereas there will be an additional section in the personal information forms of students, teaching and non-teaching staff that is designated for the pronouns and honorifics. And the collected data will be used as a reference for the proper pronouns and honorifics. And for those identified pronouns and honorifics, neutral gendered pronouns and honorifics will be utilized. Whereas to recognize and respect the gender identity of students, teaching and non-teaching staff, members of the General Legislative Council shall implement a regulation that mandates the correct usage of gender pronouns and honorifics to USC and CSE paper documents that circulate in the institution. Now therefore be it resolved, as it is hereby resolved, to urge the members of the General Legislative Assembly to approve the regulation that mandates the correct usage of gender pronouns and prefix in USC CSE documents that circulate in the university. Resolve further that the copy of the resolution will be furnished to all concerned offices and done this 14th day of March 2022 during the Bicol University General Legislative Assembly via Zoom conference. So I move for the adoption of Resolution 009 series of 2020 for its first
Solution in its first reading. Or is there a second? Are
Second.
there any second? All right. Are there any questions, manifestations, or objections? Hearing none, therefore the motion is approved by general consent. Let's proceed with the second reading. The chair suggests to suspend a motion for a suspension of the second reading and proceed immediately to the debate. Would like to state the motion? So I'm gonna call UCCSC representative, UCCSC Kenneth. Do you wish to state the motion? All right. How about UCBEM representative Micaela Comoda? Do you wish to state the motion? All right. Again, I'm doing this to check whether the body is actively participating. So I'm noticing how the inactivity of some are just here, but not really participating in the discussion of the assembly. So Ken, let me emphasize what's the point of you being here, pero hindi naman kayo nagpa-participate din sa discussions. Alright? So I highly encourage for the next motions and for the next parts of this resolution for active engagement from everyone of you. Thank you. So, would you like to raise a motion? Yes, Ms. Larce, you're recognized.
I move to suspend the second reading of the resolution and proceed so that we can proceed immediately to the debate proper.
Are there any second?
Second.
Are there any questions, manifestations, and objections to the motion? Hearing none, the motion is approved by general consent. Let's proceed to the debate proper. Those who wish to speak in favor or against, or anybody who just wants to state their opinions and thoughts are welcome. Please type the chat if you wish to be recognized. Hello, is there anybody who wish to speak? Or if none, maybe you could motion to close the debate and proceed to amendment.
Mr. Chair, may I be recognized? Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chair, you are not audible.
And audible na ba? Wala.
Okay na, meron na.
May audible. Narinig yun ako.
Mr. Chair, yes po.
Alright. Alright, so again, fighting.
Mr. Chair, we cannot again.
Pero na ba?
Yes.
Ay, nakakaloka. Alright, so those who wish to participate in the debate, please type sa chat to be recognized. Yes, Lifeline President, you are recognized.
Good afternoon, everyone. For manifestation and for our position, for my position specifically, as I have read the resolution itself, the proposed resolution, I have observed that it is mandating, or in another form of saying is requiring the use of the gender pronouns, specifically the word mix. So having observed this, may I first share the definition of freedom of speech, as it is also connected with this. So according to amnesty.org, freedom of speech is the right to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas of all kinds by any means. Freedom of speech and the right to freedom of expression applies to ideas of all kinds, including those that may be deeply offensive. So this resolution, I think, is uh, if would be uh, if would be applied or if would be approved to the student body. And um, what about those students who are not comfortable to refer to someone as what he or she wants to be preferred to be called as a as the pronoun that she or he wants. And at least for the word mandate, it is a strong word for a requirement. And also, may I also present that it might manifest a coercion or a form of aggression if someone may resist. And also to put that we may encourage, but we cannot or we may it may be a descriptive way of using pronoun, but it may not be prescriptive, specifically if that person is not comfortable to do so. And also, there is no statement of penalty or any reprimand if this resolution could not be properly uh, implemented, or if it is if not obeyed. So also, we have this anti-bullying act, which also discusses the inclusivity of this gender.
For 2 minutes to speak is already consumed. So if you wish to be recognized again, please type sa chat box ulit natin.
Okay po,
But
thank you.
now, again, kayo stick tayo sa 2 minutes per speaker. So, be concise with your arguments. So if you wish to speak again, just need to be recognized. So I recognize Mr. Hendrix Bernal.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I would like to address the first concern of the previous speaker. This resolution is not in any way mandating or forcing anyone to identify as an MX or a mix. It is actually urging us to use the proper honorifics and pronouns that the person identifies with, because this is actually a question of gender, which is I think the third component in the Soji. In Soji, it is a spectrum of whether you are cis-binary or to trans, and in the middle there are gender fluid people, or actually there are people who do not identify as a man nor a woman. So we are giving them the liberty that they deserve to identify as that and to be properly addressed as a mix. But we are not saying that men and women who identify as Mr. and Miss should be called mix, because obviously they want to be addressed as Mr. and Miss. And regarding the resolution, another point of manifestation, I think I have not read it actually, but we just need to have a, I guess, database where it will be a uniform reference where everyone can uh, get the proper pronouns and honorifics of the students and other people in the university, so that we will not also waste time asking or guessing if they are a Mister or a Mix or a Miss. And you know, that is all. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, again, you're having trouble with your audio.
Please inform me constantly if may problem ako sa audio. So again, lifetime president, you are recognized.
Okay po. I appreciate actually the movement of inclusivity of the student body of Bicol University. However, my stand and concern is for those who are for example, in this General Legislative Assembly, uh, some of us are wanting to be called mix. So for example, I prefer not to do that, or I am more comfortable to call someone Mr. or Miss, despite the wanting of someone who wants herself or himself to be identified and to be called mix. That is my concern, that the right also of that one who is not comfortable to do of using that preferred mix to someone who wants is my concern also. So it's between the rights of that someone who wants to identify himself to be called mix, and the one who is not comfortable to call him also for some reasons. And also it's very important also to have a proper policy on how can we really identify to use these genders in a safer way. May I suggest to make it gender neutral if possible, and also the word mandate to encourage, but not that mandate itself. So that's my position, and that is what I also stands for those who have the same concern as mine.
Thank you. So let's move on, Miss Larce, for your response.
Thank you so much for that manifestation. So number one, you stated that if you are not you are uncomfortable to be called mix instead of Mister. Actually, being called mix will give you an opportunity to state your pronouns so that you can be addressed properly. So using mixed is also addressing that we welcome that there are trans and non-confirming gender. So for your question number, for point number two, which is to urge, yes, we can do that for the amendment proper. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Larce. Mm, Mr. Bernal, you are recognized. Mr. Bernal,
Hello?
you're audible.
Sorry po, baka na-type ko lang din. Naka-automatic po kasi ang ano ko, ang copy-paste ng may ID recognized. Sorry. Baka na-enter ko.
Okay. Um, um, Checking the chat. President of Lifeline, you are recognized again.
Thank you very much. Just also a follow up. What I mean is not what if I may be corrected to what Miss Larce has said. So my point is to that person who is not comfortable to tell someone mix, but not to the person to be recognized as mix. So for example, I've already given the example. I am not comfortable to tell someone mix, but I prefer to use Mr. or Miss. Would it be the question is, would it be declared that I am disrespectful to that person, or am I being offensive to him? Because that's what is also my rights to tell. However, I appreciate that the mandate would be amended into a to not a forceful manner, but also to be encouraged. So that's the clarification I just need to state for this resolution.
Thank you. And for the last speaker for this debate, Ms. Larce, you have the right to respond.
Thank you for that concern. So if you're referring, if you address, if one person prefer to address Mr. or use the Mr. or Miss instead of mix, actually this resolution will make a change that we recognize that there are people who are non who are who do not prefer to be called by or for us to recognize that there are people who don't want to be um, parang hindi po sila ma-assume na ito po yung gender nila.